On this week's Ring of Honor, who are the biggest cult heroes in Senators history?
This is Brady Kachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome! You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains, and in downtown Ottawa, it is our good friend Lalime's Martian. Today is Friday, August 1st, and Pilsy, we're about a month away from watching Senators jerseys on the ice.
Yeah, we're getting there, but it's Ring of Honor season, and we're in the thick of it. It's our third episode of this season, and look, after definitely the most successful Ottawa Senators season we've covered as a podcast, we decided to get into two negative topics for Ring of Honor right away. If you missed it, at the first episode of this season of Ring of Honor, we did the biggest Sens draft misses. Sad, depressing, humiliating. And then the second episode we did, I'm blanking on it. Help me out here, boys.
Are you serious? Why don't we ask the winner?
I can't remember either.
I had it in my head and I just lost it. Wait. Oh, got it. And it plays in perfectly because Ross, that one got away from me. The second episode was Sens that got away. So some emotional departures of guys that if they only were in Ottawa a little bit longer, or if the Sens hadn't let them get away, what could have come? And my God, this had been the best Ring of Honor season as far as close votes go, because this was another close one. And Martian, congrats. It pains me, but congrats. You got the dub.
Thank you, Pilsy. And I feel like I earned this one after losing to Ross by 1.4% on the first one there. Or did I lose to you, Pilsy? I can't remember who won the first one either.
No, you lost to Ross. This is the closer one, though.
Oh, yeah. Even closer one. I squeezed this one out, so I'm happy about the W. And I love this topic that we're going to be getting into today, boys. I might go as far as to give this one a Messier guarantee for my own vote yet again.
Whoa. Wow.
This is
the guy wins by 0.8%, and he all of a sudden is a dynasty.
This is one of those topics that's so up my alley that I don't think it's possible that you guys can win this one on me. I think I got this one in the bag already.
Well, you do get an advantage as the winner of the last Ring of Honor, Sens that got away. Maybe you boys will remember that one now. You got to pick the order. So what's the order going to be today for Senators Cult Heroes?
Wait, before we start, Ross, Martian's confidence here. Is this like a heat check for him? Are you more nervous now that he's given the Messier guarantee, or do you think he just set up his own downfall?
I believe the latter is true, and I think the voters will be very sure to humble old Martian.
All right, Martian, go ahead.
One.
Yeah, we'll see about that. So the order for today's episode, I'm going to be selfish on this one. Sorry, boys. I'm going to be taking the 1-1 pick in this draft. Pilsy, you're going 2. And Ross, you're going to go number 3. So in order of last week's results for last week's Ring of Honor. That's how it's going to go.
He's really trying to put number 1 and his name next to each other right off the bat. Okay, we like it. We can appreciate that, Martian. So if you're so confident, lead us off. Who is the number 1 cult hero? What, you got parameters?
No, it's because we hadn't even mentioned the topic yet. And you're like,
yeah, I did.
Go, get started.
I did
Okay.
Off the top, and then I just said it here. Must
Okay,
have got away from you.
Yes, there was one parameter, Ross, and we talked about it. There is a difference, and maybe we should have brought Martian into the loop here, but we can discuss. There is a difference.
Ring of Honor conversations without me? What's going on here? Is this
it was no. It was just a quick one. But I think there needs to be a difference between a cult hero and a legend. Like, remember we had this discussion, Ross? Like, can we say the guy we talked about as the example? Or
of course. How about we say this, Martian? You can be for or against it. You're leading it off, and the voters will decide. I think if you have your number retired by the organization, you're probably beyond a cult hero.
Yeah.
I think I know where you guys are going with that. I'm basically in agreement. I do think it will be up to the voters, though, to decide.
Totally. But I mean,
what? So no pick vetoes? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think there shouldn't be pick vetoes, but we hope that people understand the meaning of cult heroes. But like, we're not just listing off the franchise leaders in goals, games played, and wins and things like that. Like, we're not talking about the best Ottawa Senators of all times. We're talking about cult heroes.
Do you want the definition of a cult hero?
Do we need a definition to start it off?
Sure, let's do it.
A cult hero is a public figure, often a sports personality, who is intensely admired by a relatively small, dedicated group of fans, despite not necessarily achieving mainstream fame, which is why I think that if you are a player that's had your number retired, you clearly have gotten mainstream fame in the city of Ottawa.
So there you go. That definition is cool by me.
Okay. All right. Lead us off. Your first overall pick.
All right. The first overall pick for me, I feel like this is a clear 1-1 for us in this draft. I'm going back to 2014, 2015 season. The run of a lifetime for an Ottawa Senators goalie, for any goalie almost in history of the NHL. I mean, Andrew Hammond went absolutely insane on what became known as the Hamburglar run, boys. You want to talk about cult heroes? How about a guy who can get an entire building full of people to throw cheeseburgers on the ice to represent the run that he was on? That was absolutely epic. 20 wins, 1 loss, 2 overtime losses, a 1.79 goals against average, 941 save percentage on this run, 2 shutouts, pushing the Ottawa Senators to get to the playoffs. That was a historic run. Absolutely incredible moment as a Sens fan, something we still talk about to this day. Andrew Hammond is the biggest cult hero in Sens history.
Yeah, that's my 1-1 as well.
That is correct. Yes.
Good call. Way to not screw up the first pick.
Yeah. It's not like me to do that.
Now, when Ross read the definition of cult hero, though, there was one part of the wording that if you were going to pick this, Ross, I was going to rebuttal with. I believe it said did not achieve mainstream success, or what was the exact wording? Because this became a national news story and the entire country of Canada was watching this and in on this. So just saying that.
It's the 1-1.
It's the 1-1. That aside,
it is, I know.
Don't forget too. I mean, Sens fans were getting great deals on hamburgers that entire run as well. McDonald's came in clutch. We were getting cheap burgers, free burgers even, and Andrew Hammond ended up getting free burgers for life from McDonald's as well. Like that's
gold card.
Yeah, that's incredible stuff right there. And Andrew Hammond's career, you know, maybe not the perfect career overall, and as far as like great goaltenders go, he's not the first one to come to mind, but that run warrants being a very good cult hero for this fan base.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to put a dent in your armor there, but that clearly is the 1-1. There's no debating it. So well done.
I appreciate you trying, buddy. You're up.
Thank you. I appreciate your appreciation. Okay, the second pick, I believe this is the correct number 2 pick. Ross, I believe before we started, you said there was a clear 1-2 for you, which is why you were nervous for the 3. So I hope I hit this. Martian, do you believe there is a clear number 2 pick here? Like, were you deciding if you were going to go second? You had a guy ready to roll?
I do have a couple guys who are in my next tier of picks that I would be okay with you taking here, but I'd love to hear what you've got in store for us here, Pills.
All right. My clear number 2 pick is Jean-Gabriel Pageau. I mean, 4 goals in a playoff game. That's absolutely sick. In game 2 of the 2017 Eastern Conference semifinals, Pageau scored 4 goals, including the game winner in double overtime, 6-5 victory. That gave the Sens a 2-0 lead in the series. He was the first player in Sens history to score 4 goals in a playoff game. It was a natural hat trick, including the game-tying goal in final minutes of regulation. Before the game, he had 2 chicken parm. If you say 2 chicken parm to anyone other than a Sens fan, they're like, okay, I don't get it. But any Sens fan will know exactly what you're talking about. That followed along with the quote of 4 goals. That's absolutely sick by Guy Boucher. And to tie into the cult aspect of it, he was really kind of the first French Canadian that popped off and had massive moments in the playoffs. The only question now is, where are they going to build the statue? I mean, I could go on and on about the quotes and ties that went into Jean-Gabriel Pageau's 4-goal game. So for me, he is an absolute cult hero.
I think his 3-goal game as a rookie against the Habs in 2013 might be as impressive because nobody really expected him to have any offensive contribution. That was the greatest game in Senators history, the 6-1 win in Game 3 with the line brawl and everything else. Pajot losing a tooth in that game and getting a hat trick as a 20-year-old kid against the Francophone team in the NHL to add another Cherise on top. But I still love my 2 picks here, boys. Those were 1-2 for me as well. But as we know with Ring of Honor's draft, they're often won or lost in the 3rd and 4th round. But my first overall pick, it's an OG cult hero, and you all know where I'm going with this one. The drama, the ability, the swagger. Ray Emery is the cult hero when it comes to the Ottawa Senators of the mid-2000s. This guy got in a car accident in his Hummer and missed a flight to a playoff game. This guy was basically the TMZ of the Ottawa Senators. Like, it was never a dull moment, and people really rallied around the fact that as a young goalie, he had to come in and mop up the mess that Dominic Hasek left him as a young guy, having to play in those big pressure situations on a team that had Stanley Cup aspirations. So I'm very comfortable with Ray Emery being my first pick of Senators cult hero.
Yeah, I mean, the Razor, man, he was a little bit of a legend in his own right. You're right, Ross. He was an awesome cult hero. Those stories about the Hummer, him speeding down the highway, the accident, all of that combined with his great play while he was a Sen as well, coming in as that young goalie. He holds a special place in all of our hearts, I think, Ray Emery for sure. Honestly, he wasn't as high on my list as you've got him here, Ross, but I don't hate the pick because the name does stand out.
Oh, and his play stand. He was my favorite goalie. I had 2 posters in my room growing up. One was Roberto Luongo. The other was Ray Emery. Like, those were my guys. So as a young Sens fan, I was clearly in the Ray Emery cult. And the guy was a fashionista. There's that feature that TSN did with James Duthie where they went to his place. And he was just like a larger-than-life figure in Senators history, which to me very much qualifies as a cult hero. So those are our first-round picks. Andrew Hammond for Martian. Pilsey's going with Jean-Gabriel Pajot, and I've got Ray Emery. I've also got the next pick in the snake draft. We'll get to that next. You're listening to the Ring of Honor, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Gametime. We've all been there, logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's where Gametime comes in, guys. Gametime makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with killer last-minute deals. I know I use Gametime to get my concert tickets this summer, and I'm glad I did. If you're tired of endless scrolling trying to find the best deal, use Gametime Zone deals to pick the best seats in your section for you. And if you're ever wondering what your view is going to look like before you buy, don't worry about it. The app shows you a panoramic seat view, so there's no surprises. With Gametime, the price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees. Worried about what happens if your plan changes too? The Gametime guarantee has your back with cancellation protection and more. So take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Welcome back to the Ring of Honor. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Lalime's Martian. You can follow us all on social media at Sens Central, at Lalime's Martian, and make sure to head to Sens Central on Friday midday. The voting will open. Have your say on who drafted the best team of Senators cult heroes, and let us know who we missed as well, because we had some big misses on the Senators that got away. Lots of people bringing up Pavel Dimitra's name. Rest in peace, both to him and to Ray Emery. But Pavel Dimitra had an unbelievable career and was a very fair call as a miss for Sens that got away. But right now, we're doing Sens that became cult heroes, and it's my second round pick. And again, I'm going heavy in the definition of a cult hero, Maybe not the most mainstream success, but boys, he was going to be picked eventually, and I'd imagine he's best available on most of our boards. How many players on the Ottawa Senators in franchise history have their name chanted every time they touch the puck? Artem Zub is going to be my second round pick. To me, just the absolute definition of a cult hero. This guy's heard his name chanted more than he's produced points for the Ottawa Senators. He is my number 2 pick.
Yeah, that's Ray Emery and Artem Zub were my best available players. I was hoping Zub would make it back to me. I mean, Pajot had his own chant too, so let's not forget that.
That might be the entire list, other than goalies with like Andy for Craig Anderson. But I don't know if he qualifies as a cult hero. The guy was a stud for 15 years, so yeah. I'm happy with my 2 picks here, Emery and Zub.
Yeah, no, Zub was the right pick here. I'm disappointed it didn't make it back to me. Well done.
Yeah, I was hoping that one would slip by you too, Ross. That's definitely the right pick. He's got, someone made hats all about him with all the letters of the U in the hat.
Nick Spence has the Zub jersey with a bunch of U's. Like, this guy is a cult hero.
Yeah, he maxed out the amount of letters with just by filling in with with the U's on that. That's just a crazy move. So yeah,
the fact it's the reverse retro one too just makes it even better.
Yeah, everybody loves Zub. He is definitely, when you think of cult hero, he pops into the head for sure. So good pick, Ross.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah, good pick. So now I got to decide what way to go here, but I think this is the right way. Not a lot of people are mostly recognized for their hairstyle, but a certain guy who played in Ottawa, Radek Bonk, everybody loved the Bonk mullet. It's a guy people still talk about today. His time with the Ottawa Senators was pretty legendary. He put up some big points, drafted in the first round in 1994, 3rd overall by the Senators, a Czech legend. So I'm going to go Radek Bonk here. The Bonk's mullet, classic. Everybody loves it.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick. Wasn't on my list, though. I will say that.
Wasn't on my list either, Pilsy, although I do see your logic behind the pick. Great hairstyle, good player. I don't know if cult hero really describes him. I don't know if that's true. I think some people are really hanging on to the love of Radek Bonk still, so I can see your angle there. But yeah, I don't know if he really qualifies as that cult following that we're kind of looking for with this. But I do appreciate the pick.
I think maybe in the time when he was playing, not so much, but the fact that he still has pull to this day, obviously it would be great if his son was in the organization. But the fact that now, it's come back around and everybody's still attached to the whole bonk mullet.
Great name.
Look, and the name is great. So
best names in Sens history would be a great pick here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm surprised it wasn't on either of your guys' lists. That's surprising for me.
No.
Yeah. When you said it, I was like, oh, I kind of forgot about that one. It could easily be on my list, but
he's not an awful pick.
Okay.
Not an awful pick.
This is where things are going to get kind of interesting in this draft. I feel like at this turn here, I could go one of two ways. I could go off the board and take a couple things that I know aren't going to be on your gentleman's list. That's kind of where my confidence came from. I think I thought outside the box for this draft, but looking at how we're taking this so far, I'm gonna maybe wait on that, and I'm gonna go more traditional on this draft with my strategy.
You got two picks in a row here, Martian. So
yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to take a current Ottawa Senator actually right now. The guy who wears number 12 currently for the Ottawa Senators, Shane Pinto.
Good pick.
If you look at Shane Pinto and the love for Shane Pinto from this fan base, I don't think you'll find another name in Sens history who has so many Twitter accounts named after this player. I don't know what it is either. There's always, every fan base sort of has this gang of I don't know if it's younger people or teenage girls, but they kind of objectify Shane Pinto into, being this super handsome, they're posting photos of him with his tongue out, posting photos.
He's modern day Mike Fisher, legit, down to the number.
Yeah. And so there's definitely a huge cult following for this player. And I hope that the fans who are voting on this realize what I'm doing here as a cult following. Shane Pinto's career is basically just getting started here, and he's already got this cult following. Who knows where this is going to end up going throughout his career? He could be both a legend and a cult hero. Shane Pinto, I think, is a strong pick for me here with my second selection.
I think it'd look better lower on the graphic, but I do like the pick.
Wasn't on my list, but I get it. Hot guy. Girls love him.
Yeah, exactly. Chicks love Shane Pinto.
Yeah, chicks love him. So yeah,
dudes love him too, man. This guy can score. He's a great hockey player.
Good third line checking center too.
Yeah. Listen, like when a guy's that attractive, even as a straight male, you got to admit it. And so Shane Pinto, he gets the love from both sides, I think, on this one. Okay. Shane Pinto, cult hero.
And, I mean, you got the whole Pinto parlay thing you can get into there. The Pinto beans. There's a couple different angles there. So
the Pinto Ford.
Yeah.
The car.
I don't know if that one's
the Ford Pinto. That was a kind of
reference, but okay.
That was a cult classic car. I'd argue.
No, it was. It was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the one where if you hit it in the back, they just explode. Like it was kind of an issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm a Ford guy though, so I don't mean to disparage Ford, but I think that's why it was a cult classic.
Well, we're halfway through our list of the biggest cult heroes in Ottawa Senators history. It will continue next. You're listening to the Ring of Honor, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day. Welcome back to the Ring of Honor. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Lalime's Martian, drafting our Sens cult heroes in franchise history. Martian so far has Andrew Hammond and Shane Pinto. Pilsy's gone with J.G. Pajot and Radek Bonk, and I've got Ray Emery and Artem Zub. Now that we are through 2 rounds, I can give a little insight into why I picked Emery before Zub. Sometimes it's what would look like more of a steal in a lower round. So
yeah, you love that.
Martian's already done his second pick, but he's back up here with his 3rd round selection.
Yeah, and this is a fun one. When we came up with this topic, the first person who popped into my head was this player.
Ooh.
It was from Riga, Latvia, boys. The dog, Kaspars Daugavins. When you think cult hero, I don't know what it is about this guy. He had a cult following, instant fan favorite, from his personality to some of the tricks he was pulling off in the ice. That shootout attempt where he stuck his stick on top of
I was at that game.
Wheeling it around like that. I thought that was absolutely hilarious, and I know a ton of Sens fans out there agree. He was a cult hero. It made no sense that he was so beloved because he really only played, not even a full season's worth. Oh, maybe around 80 something games for the Sens in the NHL. Yeah, it was a full season, but over the course of 3 different seasons. Yeah. And he played, whatever it was, 7-8 years in the Sens organization.
Calder Cup champ with Bingo.
Yeah, mainly with Bingo. So I thought Kaspars Daugavins, he popped into my head immediately when I thought cult hero. So again, I'm feeling comfortable with this selection here.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, the shootout attempt with the upside down stick. I mean, that is...
He almost scored.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Like, were you guys watching that game live?
I was there. I told you. I was there. It was wild.
That's so crazy.
What is he doing?
Yeah. Well, it was one of those things. I think we knew about it, right? I think he had tried it maybe in international play previously, or maybe in Binghamton or something in a practice where the video got out. And so we knew he was liking this little trick that he was pulling off. So when it actually happened in a game, everyone was like, oh my God, here we go. And I can't remember if Guy Boucher was the coach who put him in for that shootout attempt?
No, that had to be before Guy Boucher. My guess is Paul McLean.
Okay, so whoever put him in as the coach knew he was going to do this move too. So it was just one of those things we were anticipating. And when it happened, it was awesome. So I'm going with the dog. The dog.
Yeah,
nice.
I don't mind that. It was in 2013. So, yes, Paul McLean was the coach.
Okay. Good call out there, Ross.
Yeah. All right. Pilsy, you're up. Wasn't on my list, but I appreciate that pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was on my list, but I was thinking 4th round for him. But I mean, if he's the guy you thought of, you got to go with it, and I think people will appreciate that. I've got a couple guys in mind here. I think they're probably lower on your guys' list, so I'm gonna have to decide who I think you guys would value more.
Yeah, I already have my 3rd and 4th round picks written down, like ready to put in the graphic. So
Holy,
please don't mess that up.
getting ahead of yourself a little bit over there, bud.
Yep.
No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go with Kyle Turris. Chains out for Kyle. He scored massive goals in the playoffs. He was a guy that was disgruntled in Phoenix. He was a high draft pick, and Ottawa was like, "Hey, get on out of the desert. Come here. We'll get the life back in you." And he ended up being an absolute legend for Ottawa. He's still
legend.
Oh no,
Legend. Hey, Martian's not a cult hero. He's a legend
in the playoffs. And he was a guy that was well liked by the fan base. I mean, the work that he did with the Capital Condors, and I believe continues to do with them, is something that holds a lot of meaning to the community. And when you think Kyle Turris, like, I don't think anyone thinks of him in Nashville or Phoenix, or did he play in Edmonton?
Yeah, he did.
Well, yeah, like, you think of his time with the Ottawa Senators. So I'm going Kyle Turris, chains out for Kyle.
Yeah, I like that pick. That's solid. Wasn't on my list, but that's a miss by me because that's a great pick there. Kyle Turris. You got 2 3rd overall picks, so you're really going with unknown players, eh, Pills?
Sure.
All right, I'm up here. I'm actually excited. Marsh, you got a take on that one?
Yeah, no, I like the pick. He was on my list for sure, Pilsy. So I expected him to go around this time, but yeah, good pick there with Kyle Turris for sure.
When I think of cult heroes, I think of guys that don't get enough respect. My 3rd round pick is going to be Anton Volchenkov. The guy ate pucks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He was a low maintenance player. And to me, like, I've got an Anton Volchenkov jersey hanging up in the closet right now. He was, to me, a cult hero and a guy who, on a decor with Wade Redden, Chris Phillips, and Zdeno Chara, went out there every night and did exactly what his job was. And I bet you he was a cult hero in the locker room for that, being a guy who just went about his business and just, like, this guy, he'd go to a restaurant and order pucks, I bet, and he'd just eat them every single night. So I'm very happy that Anton Volchenkov went to me. This is a personal cult hero of mine, so he's going to be my 3rd overall selection.
There's a definite theme here with Ross's last 2 picks. It's
continuing.
Russians who play defense and speak horrible English. So those are your last 2 picks. There's something about that to be said.
Oh, I got one more.
The fans find endearing.
You meant your previous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your last 2 picks. Yeah, that there's something endearing about guys who can't speak English very well. Yeah, the Bulgy Bear. That's what the boys called him in the room. So I think you're right about that, Ross. Good pick, Anton Volchenkov.
Not on my list, but a decent pick. I thought about putting him there, but I didn't have like a era or nickname or an event to tie
the
to
A-Train?
him. So yeah, fair. The A-Train.
He literally inspired a current nickname on the squad with the K-Train.
Hey, I forgot about that. That's my bad.
Yeah, he was one of the most ferocious hitters in the game. Like, I even heard, I think it was Nate Thompson recently, another former center, not my 4th overall pick, but in a podcast where they asked him, what's the hardest you've ever been hit? And he's like, I don't know if you guys know this guy, Anton Volchenkov, but he sent me into next week. And he did that often, man. It's unfortunate that, like, a lot of his career was before block shots and hits were as readily available. So he's not high up on those all-time lists for the Senators, but there's no way he's not number 1 in blocks and not number 1 in hits. This guy did it all defensively, so he's my pick, and it leads perfectly into my 4th round selection, boys. I can't believe it's still on the board. And for me to have it on the graphic as my 4th round selection, Mark Mathot is going to be my 4th round
He was on my list.
Not only the fantastic broadcaster that he's become, and the fact that this guy is for the people. He probably spends more time when he's doing his broadcast shaking hands and kissing babies than he does actually doing the broadcast. But he's an Ottawa guy who was traded for a loved player in Nick Foligno, and everyone's like, oh man, like, that's forward for defenseman. Yeah, we're looking for a partner for our best player. And he came in low maintenance, did his thing, and 2 of his 3 playoff goals happened to be game winners as well. So I'm looking at Mark Mathod as a phenomenal 4th round pick here for me.
I don't like
solid.
what you just did here, Ross. I know what you're thinking.
I mean it, dude.
You are hoping for the Mark Mathod comment.
No, I'm not.
Where he
will not tag him.
Going to sway the vote by saying Team 3 by a long shot or something. I wouldn't be surprised if you've already texted him the link to the poll to get him to go and make that comment. That's a dirty play, Glatt. I don't hate the selection, but I think there's ulterior motives. I do think there's better picks left on the board, but I know what you're thinking here, Ross. That's classic Ross little workaround. I don't love it.
37th in games played by the Ottawa Senators, but if you ask any Sens fan, they know Mark Mathod. The guy was 13th in plus minus when he was with the Senators, and I know it's not everything, but when you're a stay-at-home defenseman, you want to look at that, and I like that. And Anton Volchenkov was plus 61 as well.
I'm just hoping Mark is too busy on the farm this summer to take the time to see this poll and somehow skew the voting your way, Ross.
By the way, I did look it up because I know I said that Volchenkov's stats wouldn't have been included because he played some of it beforehand. He's still 2nd behind Chris Phillips in block shots, and he is 8th in hits.
Yeah.
Somehow Pajot is 7th in hits. So there you go.
Wow. Damn, I would not have guessed
me
that.
Too.
I think you left out one of the biggest parts of why Mark Mathod should be a cult hero for the Sens, Ross, is when he was available, the Toronto Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadiens called, and he basically told them, F off, there's no way I'm ever putting that jersey.
Yep, thank you.
Now, he did
Good
have
point.
to put that Leafs jersey on the broadcast. His little bet with Odog, but Odog wore a Sens jersey too. But yeah, that for me was the one where I was like, this is an Ottawa guy, an Ottawa Senators guy. He might have had great offers from them, and he didn't even consider talking to them. So that's classic.
Yeah. And the hip checks, and then the losing of the pinky, the tip of the pinky finger with Sidney Crosby. There's a lot of great little storylines involving Mark Mathod. So.
And he looked nailed in the playoffs with the missing tooth. Like he was the type of guy you want on your team when you go to war in the playoffs. So I love my team. I love my team. Let's go.
Very defensive-minded squad on Ross here.
Yep.
Yeah, big time. Not a lot of goals scored between those 4.
No, exactly. They don't have mainstream success.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, my final pick here.
Hey, he's looking through all the 3rd overall picks. Why don't you take Timmy?
Hey, that's a good one. People love Timmy. Give it to the German. No, I'm going to go a different direction. This player did play with Tim Stützle, though.
Derek Stepan.
A 2-term Senator. I'm going to go with Tyler Ennis. The best to ever do it, and it's not that close. If you go back and watch his mic'd up when they gave him the mic for the one practice, and I was just laughing the entire time. The way he was such a good mentor for the boys. He had some of his better years in Ottawa, a resurgence from after he left Buffalo. Things weren't working out for him, but he went to the Leafs. That didn't work out for him, so he decided to come to Ottawa, and it worked out well for him. Went to Edmonton, came back to Ottawa, the last team he played for in his career. But when he was here, there's just so many moments where like, oh man, Tyler Ennis, that guy is just awesome. And I feel like he was just such good vibes in depressing years for this Ottawa Senators fan base that it just brings a smile to my face. So maybe that's not a hard-hitting one, but when you think about Tyler Ennis, you think of him in a Sens jersey, you think of him showing off that skill, and he's just a fun guy.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
I
love my team, though.
When you said that. Yeah, he wasn't on my list either, but when you said he puts a smile on your face, like when you said Tyler Ennis, I did start smiling.
It's so good.
You see the logic behind the pick. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, you're up. I got a lot of honorable mentions.
So do I. This is where I win this draft right here with this next pick. It's our first non-player pick on the board.
Spartacat, your boy?
We did not specify players only. Okay.
Spartacat is on my list, Ross, but I am not taking Spartacat with this pick. For this one, I am taking national anthem singer Lyndon Slewage as the cult hero that's going to win me this draft. I have a
huge pick.
I have a few non-players on my list. Lyndon Slewage was at the top of those type of picks, and I can't believe you guys blanked on this one. I almost took him in the third and second round just to make sure I got him. Lyndon Slewage is going to tip the scales here for me. Thanks for coming out, gentlemen. One of the best national anthem singers ever. There was a period of time where he was not the anthem singer, and he came back. It was one of the loudest I've ever heard this building. People in Ottawa love Lyndon Slewage. People outside of Ottawa don't know who Lyndon Slewage is, probably. Former police constable, the gloves, the thumbs up, everything about this guy screams cult hero. And I am happy as a clam that I'm taking Lyndon Slewage here.
You should have taken him in your second round pick. Honestly, I think your list would have flowed better.
That's an amazing pick. Can't argue that. Going outside the box, that's a pick you like Ross would have made, and we would have argued. But you scooped in and got it with the final pick of the draft.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Well
value.
done, Martian. Well done.
If you didn't mess up your second and third picks, you would have been absolutely.
I didn't mess those picks up at all. Those were right at the top of my list as well, Ross. I think
Mike Fisher would have played way better than Shane Pinto.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, that's up for the people to decide, Ross.
I guess what you don't think we have many 50 to 70-year-old women that listen to the podcast? 'Cause all of them would be all over the Mike Fisher pick.
I mean, there's probably some other cult attachments you can go with Mike Fisher, but I don't know if it's the ones we want to get into.
Well, you get the Carrie Underwood fan base there. Like nobody took. Somebody could have taken Hillary Duff or Carrie Underwood as picks here. Senators Cult Heroes.
Hillary Duff on the graphic would have been wild.
Hillary Duff would look wild. Wait until you see my honorable mentions.
Well, hit us with them.
No. Before we get to that, let's each read out our team. Yes. Martian, you went first, so read out your 4 picks. All these will be available to vote on Twitter at Sens Central. We post the graphic on all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, but the voting will take place on Twitter. So, Martian, you had the first overall pick. You had the 6th overall pick, the 7th overall pick, and the 12th pick in the draft.
That's right, Ross. And I took Andrew Hammond, Shane Pinto, Kaspars Dogovins, and Lyndon Slewage with my final.
Crazy value in the 4th round. Pilsy, you're up.
I got Jean-Gabriel Pajot, Radek Bonk, Kyle Turris, and Tyler Ennis.
All right. And I went with Ray Emery, Artem Zub, Anton Volchenkov, and Mark Method. Again, go vote on Twitter. All right, boys. Honorable mentions time. Martian, you're chomping at the bit here. Who do you got?
Yeah, I got some really funny ones here, boys. One's a fictional character. I've got remember the Sens sicko, the ha 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 yes guy that was in the window? That to me could have been a cult hero type situation. I have former Sens social media account manager Craig Medaglia on my list.
Honorable mention, beauty, friend of the show.
Yep.
Every single Sens post that he used to make, it would say everyone would just say Craig underneath, which was really funny. Also have another influencer here, Brian 5 or 6, a bit of a cult hero in his own right there. I think in his prime, he was a pretty well-known Sens cult hero. I also almost took, and this would have been very debatable, I think you guys would have fought me on this, Danger Flutes as a cult hero, just the song. I know it's not a person, it's not an individual.
I probably would have let that go.
No, I don't think it's got to be a person.
Yeah, you would have had to figure out who made the song.
Yeah,
yes.
And then
it wouldn't have looked that good on the graphic.
Yeah, so Danger Flutes was something that I think has a cult following, but doesn't qualify as a hero.
Yeah. Imagine on the graphic said dun 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 dun.
Oh, one last one I had was Ryan Reynolds. I thought it would have played really well in the graphic. Yeah. If there was a period of time where everyone was pretty convinced he was going to end up owning the team. People were dressing up in Deadpool, Sens Deadpool. There's all kinds of Twitter accounts for that too. Definitely a bit of a Sens cult following there, but maybe just because of the way it all worked out, I don't think it would have been the best pick.
Yeah, I like that. I'll read off a couple of mine. I got so many here, but a couple of them that I did consider. Brian McGrattan He came in, broke Taidomi's nose.
Yep.
He was a cult hero for sure. Our boys, Igor Sokolov and Angus Crookshank, I think for the lack of NHL games played, I think those two definitely got a cult following. Funny enough, Crooker leads the Belleville Sens history in goals and Sokolov in points. So they did have impacts in other parts of the organization, but obviously not in the National Hockey League as much as maybe you need for a cult following. But those two, I think, would play. And another one that, like, I think maybe this is just Guy Boucher's cult hero, but Tom Pyatt would have looked hilarious.
That was just one guy's cult hero.
Yeah. I actually put a space, and then I put a few names that I wanted to mention, but that I think would have looked awful on the graphic. I kind of thought Pilsy was going to go with Eric Brandstrom at one point.
Eric Branson was on my list and high, but I knew you guys were going to clown me for it. The short king, analytical darling. I think in my mind it made sense, but I've had too many of those picks where I focus on what I think makes sense and it blows up in my face. So I left them off there because I think nowadays it's not a 50-50 battle of Sens fans that love him or hate him. I think it's much more tilted into Sens fans that are like, thank God he's gone. So I didn't think that would have been a smart move on the graphic.
Yeah. And people would have fallen asleep listening to that, maybe in like their first meeting watching the show.
Yeah.
Other ones that I have here, Brandon Bachensky, I think.
Oh, the preseason legends.
The mayor.
Preseason legend. Mayor of Grand Forks, North Dakota. That was a funny like reboot to the Brandon Bachensky storyline. During COVID, everyone's looking for like guests on shows. And it's like, hey, wait, we got 4 prospects in North Dakota. Their mayor played for the Senators. So that was kind of funny with Brandon Bachensky.
Yeah, only guy on my honorable mentions that we haven't talked about. I thought about going with him for my last pick, Clark MacArthur.
I have him on my list.
Coming back from the concussion, scoring the series winner goal, leaving Toronto to come to Ottawa, another guy that did that. So I thought about going him, but I went Tyler Ennis instead.
Yeah, the only other one that I had, again, in the don't make these picks but mention them, Joe Corvo.
Oh, that's such a good one.
Corvo scored a playoff game-winning goal in 2007, and another 2-term Ottawa Senator, and he was just, I mean, when you're nicknamed those Joe Corvo, you're probably not the best defensive player, and maybe that hurts.
Yeah, one of my best buddies is going to be happy you mentioned Joe Corvo because he's still, to this day, he talks about him all the time. He was a big Joe Corvo fan when he was a young guy. Only other one from me, boys, I got one last one here, is Colin White. I don't know if that would have played.
I thought about it.
Less of a cult following as much as it is just like he was hilarious. I think everybody.
You put Curtis Lazar in that same category.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great smile.
Yeah, and I mean he ate the burger that Martian mentioned earlier, right? So
true.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Lastly on that one, sorry, we mentioned him a bunch, but I think Mike Fisher was definitely at one point a very cult following player.
Yeah, and actually, this flows well from Mike Fisher because it's church related. I thought for sure somebody was going to take Alfredson.
That was the player we discussed because Ross and I were like, the Church of Alfie, Sens fans love him, but like
he's a hockey Hall of Famer. I think he's got mainstream success.
Like, come on.
It's almost though like he was a bit of a cult following type player that just grew well beyond that into legend status.
Exactly. And that was exactly what we talked about.
Once he led the Stanley Cup playoffs in points, I think you probably lose cult following. And when you lead your Olympic team in points to a gold medal, you probably got international success.
And you're the franchise leader in pretty much every offensive statistical category.
Yeah, exactly.
He did too much to be considered.
But yeah, we had to mention him for sure on the show, obviously, but yeah, I don't think that plays. Just like I don't think Brady Tkachuk would play either. I think he's international star.
Agreed.
Yeah. But great. I feel like some people might say Thomas Chabot.
Yeah, there's this new this horse thing going around where people are comparing him to a horse, and like there's photos, and it's very weird. I can't really get on board with it yet, but some people seem to be enjoying that.
I think that would have played more when he was leading the league in ice time every single year.
Yeah,
he was the horse of the NHL, man. He was playing so much, too much, some would say, but heck of a last season for Thomas Chabot. I'm sure we still missed many more cult heroes in Senators history. Ian Mendez would have played well on the graphic too.
I thought about taking Ian. Yeah, for sure. With what he's done, yeah, he's definitely got a cult following. There's no doubt about that. I will say this was probably one of the least contentious Ring of Honors that we've ever had. We're pretty friendly to each other with all of our picks, and I look forward to next week when we can start fighting a little bit more, boys, because this one was pretty friendly.
So next week, we're doing the best media personalities covering the Ottawa Senators?
yeah.
That would be the most contentious thing ever.
God, that would be actually all-time funny because those guys would be like, what the heck? I didn't get picked, or like, whatever.
I think we should do it. Pillsy doesn't want to do it.
No, I could be down, but I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings if they get off the list.
It's only 12. There's probably like 30 plus names that you could have. Like if you're not in the top 12, everyone else is tied for 13th.
Yeah.
I'm
How
happy
about we do worst Sens media personalities? That's bad. I think we all have. The three of us know the 1-1 of that.
Oh,
I don't know.
Luckily, we don't have to worry about it anymore.
We'll never do that draft. I mean, I would do it, but Pillsy, you're too.
Would we do the best ones?
I would do that too. Half of them already hate me, so if I don't pick any,
best or favorite.
I thought we had one picked, Ross, not the numbers one. There was a different one that we were looking at.
I kind of like this one. You want to get play on a graphic? Woo.
Yeah.
I mean, people would be talking about that one. I think if we did that, I don't know if it's the best.
Let us know. Should we do it or not? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah,
because then it's on them. It's on the fans. If they say do it, we got to do it. I mean,
yeah. What we do know is the last one we're gonna do is gonna be not ranking, but picking the core of this current team.
Oh, yes, that's what I was referring to.
We're going to do that the last week of August because then we'll get to our organizational value rankings where the top has never been closer. So I feel like even just like the first 3 picks, and there's 3 of us, everyone knows the lottery boys are the top 3 guys in the organization, but I think us ordering them could get very contentious on this show. So I think we'll save that one, but let us know if you have any topics. We're always interested in getting some topics for the Ring of Honor, and make sure you go vote at Sens Central on Twitter on Friday afternoon. Martian, any final thoughts on today's show?
No, just that was another fun one, gentlemen. I'm happy to keep this going, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results out of this one. I think, like I said, the Messier guarantee still stands post-draft for me here. I'm liking my odds.
Yeah. Pillsy, final thoughts on today's show?
I gotta be honest, I don't love how this went for me. I think I think this might be a 3rd place finish for me, and that's okay. But it's about the memories you make along the way. I can't.
It actually isn't okay because you're the only one who hasn't won yet. So
hey, I got a good 2nd place hanging up there. So I'll hold on to that. Everyone knows Ring of Honor is not my strong suit. I think I'm just the comedic relief for Ring of Honor, and that's fine. As long as you're laughing with me, not at me, or maybe I'll just join you at laughing at me in the mirror and laugh. But it's all good fun, and you guys have been nicer to me this year, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. You can only beat a dead horse so many times.
Yeah, Philzy, we just feel bad for you at this point.
It's fair. It's fair.
Fair. That's great. Awesome. Great draft, boys. Thanks everyone for listening, watching, engaging with the show. We wouldn't do it without you guys. We appreciate you guys every day for making us your first listen. We did 17 interviews in July here on Locked On Senators. We got a few more in the bank that will be rolling out over the course of the next little while. Dave Poulin will join us next week as well. Senators Senior VP of Hockey Operations. We got interviews in the bank with Jabril Toure, with Javon Moore. So those will wrap up our Senators Prospect Series throughout the summer. And then it's showtime, baby. It's time to get ready for next NHL season. For today, we say goodbye. Have a great weekend, everyone. For Brandon Piller and Lalime's Martian, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.